gentlemen, and welcome new subscribers. This is Smarty Bob. I'm here in central Indiana where the temperature's hot. I'll show you the temperature because I forgot. Today I'm smoking a Peterson's P-Lip. This is the Watson. Wonderful. Sparks. Wonderful pipe. And in it, I'm smoking some Granger. Good stuff. Granger is very mild to me, in my opinion. Also has less taste than some of the other codgers to it. It's more of a neutral tobacco. I'm out here with my dog. She's probably going to bark. Thought I'd record a video and I'm going to sit there and read the paper. I want to thank all those that watched my gall video yesterday. Getting a lot of people getting into gall. Thank you for that. Trying to respond to some. I will respond to some others. I actually got a text message from a person that was interested, so I texted him back. I thought was interested, so I texted him back only to find out. This is what happens when you get old, only to find out it was the wrong person. I texted Ethan from Parsimonious Piper. Anyhow, this is going to be another back in the day. Before I get to back in the day, I want to thank Ed from Armchair Piper. He'd give my guy a shout out, and I really appreciate it. Ed's a great guy. Ed and Dr. Bo. If you don't follow Ed, Armchair Piper, you should be. He's a quality guy. Today's back in the day was inspired by another great presenter that's new, called Double O Piper. His name is Rick. You need to check him out. I'll have a link up here. Yesterday he was talking about when he was a kid, what it was when he got a new bike. Telling his stories. And it made me start thinking about when I got my new bike. Actually, when I got my bike. As you have, and I encourage everybody to go back and check everybody else's old videos out. There's so much history behind a presenter. You need to get to know one another. If you check my videos out, you realize that I talk about being raised poor. We lived out kind of on the edge of a small town. In the country on a dirt road. Had a hand pump in the front yard and an outhouse in the backyard. As kids, we were always taught, Greta, get over here, shut up. As kids, we were taught to save and spend and try to take care of things. So my garage light just went out. So as we would go out and play and walk down the streets and stuff like that, if you saw somebody had tossed a pop bottle out back then, soda pop came in bottles, you would pick that up, take it home. It was like finding money. You take it, walk go down to the little store that was about a half a mile away from the house. You'd take those pop bottles down there and they'd give you a penny a piece. Believe it or not, that was a lot of money to a kid back then. So I started doing everything at a very young age. I'd shovel snow off porches for people and steps, pick up pop bottles and mow grass, work in gardens and yards for people, pulling weeds, and anything to make a nickel, you did it. So I started saving at a young age. When I became 10 years old, I was old enough and big enough that I got a paper route. I was always big for my size. When I was 10, I probably looked 14. Great stuff. So I got a paper route, started delivering papers, walked, saved up enough money, wanted to buy a bike. Light come on, the dog walked out, the garage light comes on. So Dad knew my desire, and I had a loving, caring father. He wanted to help me out. So I told him what I wanted to do with my money. I had an older brother that had a bike, but his was just an old beat up frame, no fenders, just handlebars, a seat, a chain, and two wheels and a frame, and that was it. So I started looking for bikes. I go down and visit my grandmother who lived downtown in Indianapolis across from the Sears store. God, this is already too long. We would go down there. Sears sold bikes under the name of J.C. Higgins. I don't know who J.C. Higgins was, but all of Sears sports stuff, tennis rackets, slingshots, bicycles, skates, skateboard, anything had J.C. Higgins on it. And they were pretty cool, at least compared to other kids' bikes in my neighborhood and my brother's old bike. And one Saturday, we was going to go out and look for bikes. And on the way downtown was US 40. It's called the Old National Road. It's what connected the East Coast to the West Coast right through the Midwest. So as we got on the edge of town, there was a hardware store. I knew the name 1 minute ago and now I forgot it. I'll remember it maybe. But they sold bicycles. The name of their bike was called Western Flyer. We walked into that store and they had a circle of bikes and one bike up on top on a raised wood platform. The coolest, prettiest, neatest bike I had ever seen. It was red and chrome. It had chrome wheels. It had chrome all over it. Red. It had a headlight on it. It had a horn, push the button. It had an insert in the middle. Back then, all the bikes were big fat tire bikes. I'd never seen or wasn't exposed to an English bike. I ended up getting that bike. The front fork had chrome spring suspensions. So when you'd ride that bike and hit a bump, the spring would work and take the bump out of it. I thought that was so cool. The name of that hardware store was called Western Auto. I knew I'd get it. I rode that bike, delivered papers in that bike. It had a tandem, gosh, can't think of the name of it. Not tandem. On the back, over the rear fender, and I'll show you a picture of it. It had a thing where you could sit. I put my papers across there, deliver my papers. I'll show you several pictures of bikes up here, what they were offering back then and when. Well, I want to thank you, Rick from Double O Piper, for inspiring me to think about yesterday. Pardon the fan noise if you can hear it. I got a fan going out here already this morning. I want to thank Ed for the shout out. And I want to thank all my subscribers, new and old. Love you all, guys. Well, yesterday was just a memory. Tomorrow's just a promise. I like what I get. Don't get lazy. She's gonna get up in her chair. I want you to light up your pipe today, your favorite pipe, or have a good cigar. It's a pretty large pipe. You wouldn't think you would be able to clench this pipe, and you can't clench it very well at all. But it's got a rubber bit on it. I'm a rubber bit man. You all have a good day. And now, this is going to work.